today I will show you how to make this ghost spin effect. Alright guys, so here I have a clip from Yeet's popping music video. First we need to make an adjustment layer by pressing Ctrl-Alt-Y, and here we can add S motion detect. Now we need to press E on the adjustment layer, and here we need to go to compositing options and make the effect opacity to 0 at the start. Keyframe it at 0, and then go one frame forward and make it to 100 here. And this will basically give this motion detect effect. It's a very cool effect. And we can also press T and check the opacity to 100% and just leave it like that. And now let's add signal. Now here I like to go to Luma modulation, and at the tape errors just make the TE probability to 0 and uncheck tape errors, and also check on TE probability. Now let's add S warp vortex. This is going to be the spin effect, and make the vortex start to -20 and keyframe it at -20. Now let's make the vortex speed to 76. Also keyframe it, and now let's add S edge detect. Here I like to make the weight blue to 1.61. Now let's add deep glow, and I like to make the radius like a bit higher to like 670, and the exposure to 0.95, and keyframe the exposure at the start. And the last effect we'll add is transform, and make the scale at the start to 105 and keyframe the scale at the start. And now what I actually like to do is press E again, and let's go to S edge detect, compositing options, and here let's make the effect opacity to 50% and keyframe it at 50. Now let's also go here and press on this motion blur button, and now we need to press U, and we will see all of our keyframes that we have made. And now we need to go like 10-11 frames forward, how much you want. Actually it can be less, it can be more, just for how much you want the ghost spin effect to last for. And here we need to change some settings. So I like to go to S warp vortex, and here I like to make the vortex start to 0, vortex speed to 0, and let's make the deep glow exposure to 0.26, and the transform scale to 102, and the opacity to 0. Now let's take the opacity keyframes, both of them, and press F9, and also take the S warp vortex keyframes and press F9 on them. And now you will already have this really cool ghost spin effect, but it's not gonna be that cool because you need to work a bit more on the keyframes, which we'll do now. So let's go to vortex start keyframes, press on it, and go to graph editor. And here I like to make the graph like really wide up here, and this one drag it just a bit down. And now let's go out. Now let's go to the vortex speed keyframe, go to the graph editor, and here I like to make it this one go really down, and this one just a bit up like that. Now let's go out of the graph. Now let's actually go back to the start, and I forgot to say this, but you need to make the angle offset to 15, keyframe it to 15 here, and go to the ending. Here make it to 0. Now let's press U again and press U one more time, and here we will see the keyframe of angle offset, and select it both. Press F9, go to the graph editor, and here make the graph the same as we just did for the other one. So like this one hella down and this one just a bit up, and let's go out of here. And the last thing we need to do is go to the transform scale and press F9 on both of these keyframes. Go to the graph editor, and this one's gonna be different. So this one's gonna go down just a bit, and this one's just going to go up just a bit. All right, basically we have just made the ghost spin effect. Although you can just keep it like this, but we will actually add another effect, which is transform. So I'm gonna make a new adjustment layer by pressing Ctrl-Alt-Y, and I'm gonna go here to the last frame that we have, add transform here. I'll make the scale at the start to like 140 and keyframe it, and go to the ending, and here I'll make the scale to 100. Now I'll press U, select both of these keyframes, press F9, check on this motion blur button because we wanted to give motion blur. And now let's go to the graph editor, and here we need to make the graph, this part go down and this part come to the left. And if you want to save this as a preset so you won't have to do it ever again, you can go to one of the effects, press Ctrl-A, hold Shift, and select every single keyframe that you have. Let's go to animation, save animation preset, and here we can call it to ghost spin. Press save, and whenever you want to add this effect, you can press Ctrl-Y, type ghost spin. Just make sure you know where the start of your clip is. You might need to adjust a couple of settings here. I'm gonna go to show you some other examples of this ghost spin. Here I actually had the one, this text. I made this from Creative Fabrica, the fonts, so if you want to check that out, I'll have the link in the description most likely. Here we have an example where the ghost spin is not going out, but it's actually going in to the person. So the only difference I would do here, so I'll press U, and the transform settings are like this. So scale height is 100 at the start, and scale height at the ending is 119. Because I wanted to like go out. Legit, the only difference I did here was just make the scale not go down, but go up. And real quick, guys, I want to remind you that we have an editing visuals website where we have packs such as Opium Presets pack, which is a really good pack to use with this type of style of editing. Like, you would only need to press Ctrl+Y and you would be able to go to effects and presets and type OPIUM, and you could pick from over 50 presets that we have in the pack. So for this tutorial, I'm going to pick like OPIUM 11v2, and this is the look it would give. I really like the combination between ghost effects and OPIUM effects because they both have that similar style. They're like both edgy and they work very well for Halloween. But yeah, guys, that's about it for the tutorial. If you have any questions, then please let me know. If you want to see more videos like this with ghosts, then also let me know. But anyways, it was fun. Have a fun and productive day. See ya.